Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to carry on looking at rounding, but I thought we'd start off looking at a problem that we looked at in the last video when we were rounding to the nearest 10. So this is a true or false question. 49 is the greatest whole number that rounds to 50 when you round it to the nearest 10. Is that true or is that false? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, let's have a look at the answer. So it was false. Well done if you said it was false, because if we look at the number on a number line, we can see that the numbers from 45 to 49 would round to 50, and that the numbers from 51 to 54 would also round to 50. Hope you had a good go with that. Okay, so today we're going to be carrying on our rounding, but this time we're going to round to the nearest 100. So this time, rather than picking the multiples of 10 that the numbers sit between, we need to choose the multiples of 100 that they sit between. So if you have a look at this number line, 210, 220, all the way up to 290, what multiples of 100 would be at the start and the end of this number line? Well done if you said 200 would be at the start here and 300 would be at the end of the number line. So if we circle the number 270 on this number line here, we can see that it is closest to the end of the number line, which means that it's closest to 300. That's our nearest hundreds number. So when we would round 270 to the nearest 100, it would round up to 300. What about 220? Which hundreds number is 220 closest to? Well, 220 is closer to the end of the number line, so its closest multiple of 100 is 200. So that would round to 200. Okay, have a go at these ones. Which multiples of 100 do the numbers sit between? Let's complete the number line again. So this time we're in the 700s. That means that the start of the number line would be 700, and the hundreds number after 700 is 800. So these numbers sit in between 700 and 800. This time it's asking us to draw an arrow and label 713 on the number line. So if I get my pen, I can see that 713 is in between 710 and 720, slightly closer to 710. So if I drew my arrow, it would be about here. That means that when I round it, it would round down because it's much closer to this end of the number line. This end of the number line is 700. So 713 is much closer to 700. That means that if we did 713 rounded to the nearest 100, it would be 700. So this time, rather than looking at the ones column to decide which way we round, this time we need to look at the tens column. And it's the same rule as it was in the rounding to the nearest 10. If there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the tens, we'd round back, round down. And if there's a 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 in the tens column, we'd need to round up to the next 100. So let's have a go at rounding some of these numbers. Have a look at them here. So you can see 725, that's got 2 in the tens column, so that would round down. That rounds to 700. But 779 has a 7 in the tens column, so the 7 rounds up. That would round up to 800. So look at these ones. 701, that had no tens, so that rounded down to 700. But 751 had 5 tens. Remember, 5 is always that tricky one, but 5 always rounds up, so that would round up to 800. 749 has 4 in the tens column, so that makes it round down. but 750 had a 5 in the tens column, so that would round up to 800. Okay, now it's your turn. Pause the video while you have a little go at these ones. Remember to look carefully at the tens digits. Okay, let's check our answers. Pause the video while you mark them off. This one may have been the trickiest one. 44 has 4 tens, so rounds down, but the nearest 100 rounding down would be 0. Let's have a go at these different representations. Again, see if you can remember the Roman numerals when you get to this one. Pause the video and then press play when you're ready to look at the answers. Okay, so that first one was 213. Its nearest 100 is 200. Second one, 712. Its nearest 100 was 700. Third one was 405. Its nearest 100 would be 400. And then this Roman numeral here, 29, would round down to 0. Okay, your turn now. Circle the numbers that round to 300 to the nearest 100. Pause the video while you try and find them. Okay, these are the numbers that you should have chosen. These numbers would round to 300. 279, because it's got 7 in the tens, so it would round up to 300. Just like this one, 271, 7 tens would round up to 300. This one, 341, because it's got 4 tens, it would round down to 300. And this one, 250, because it's got 5 tens, would round up to 300. Let's have a go at this one. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. All of these would round to 200 to the nearest 100. Pause the video while you just check off your answers. Okay, so this time we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. And you've got to look at each of these numbers here: 624, 371, 289, 750 and 38. And you've got to round them to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. Now I'd start with the nearest 100 because that's what we've been doing today. So maybe have a go at filling in those ones first. And then think back to the previous video when we were rounding to the nearest 10. Today, we've been looking at the tens because we've been rounding to the nearest 100. But when you're rounding to the nearest 10, remember you need to look at the ones digit to help you. Pause the video while you have a go at that and then press play when you're ready to check off your answers. Okay, a little challenge to finish us off with. Annie is thinking of a number. My number rounds to 300 to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. What number could Annie be thinking of? Is this the only answer? Pause the video while you have a little go at this challenge. Okay, let's have a look. Annie could have been thinking of any number from 295 to 304. So anything in between those numbers could have been her number. If you've got one of those, well done. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Let's hope I will see everybody again for the third video where we'll be having a look at rounding to 1,000. Bye for now.